There's a moment in every person's life when everything that used to make sense suddenly doesn't. You wake up one morning and realize you're not sure who you are anymore. The things that once gave you purpose now feel empty. Your achievements feel meaningless. And beneath all of it, there's a quiet ache, a question that whispers when everything else goes silent. What am I really doing with my life? It's not depression, it's not failure, it's the beginning of something deeper, the beginning of what Carl Jung called individuation. We live in a world that teaches us how to succeed, but not how to become. From childhood, we're told what to value, what to pursue, and who we should be. We build identities based on expectation, on what earns praise, money, or belonging. But at some point, that identity cracks. Maybe it happens when you lose something, a job, a relationship, your sense of direction. Maybe it happens when you achieve everything you thought you wanted and still feel empty inside. Whatever causes it, it's not the end of you. It's the call of your true self trying to emerge from underneath the noise. Jung believed that every human being has two selves, the persona, which is the mask we show to the world, and the self, the deeper, authentic core that we often spend a lifetime trying to find. When those two selves drift too far apart, we begin to feel lost. Not because life is meaningless, but because we're living someone else's meaning. You see, we've become experts at external success, but beginners at inner life. We chase validation from screens, applause, and metrics. And in the process, we forget the quiet voice inside us that once knew exactly who we were. But that voice never disappears. It waits. And one day, when the noise fades, it asks softly, "Is this really you?" That's when the lostness begins. Not because you've gone astray, but because you've been summoned. Summoned to take the path back home, to yourself. This is the essence of Jung's idea of individuation, the process of becoming whole. Not perfect, not impressive, whole. It's about integrating every part of you that you've denied, your fears, your insecurities, your unspoken desires, and allowing them to take their rightful place in your story. Because what you repress rules you from the shadows, and what you face transforms you. Jung described this as a spiritual journey, but not in a religious sense. It's not about worshiping something outside you. It's about meeting what's within you. He wrote, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate." Think about that. Every time you sabotage yourself, every time you attract the same kind of people or repeat the same painful pattern, it's not random. It's your unconscious, the parts of you that you've ignored, trying to get your attention. So feeling lost, then, isn't a punishment. It's communication. It's your psyche knocking on the door, saying, "Hey, you've built a life that doesn't fit your soul. Let's fix that." Most people try to silence that voice. They distract themselves with work, entertainment, relationships, or endless scrolling. They fill every empty space with noise, terrified of what the silence might reveal. But here's the truth Jung understood. Silence isn't the absence of meaning. It's where meaning begins. Because only in silence can you hear what the world drowns out, your own truth. The individuation process isn't a one-time realization. It's a lifelong unfolding. It begins with confrontation, the painful recognition that the life you've built might not be the one you truly want. It's the point where the mask starts to crack. At first, this feels like falling apart, like you're losing everything that made you you. But that's because the persona, your mask, is falling apart. The version of you that existed to please, to fit in, to survive, it's dissolving to make space for something real. And that process hurts. Jung once said, "There is no coming to consciousness without pain." The pain of feeling lost is the labor of being reborn. As you go through this, you might start feeling isolated, misunderstood. Friends might not get it. Family might tell you to snap out of it. But that's because individuation can't be shared. It's yours alone. It's your personal myth, the inner story that your soul is trying to write. And like every mythic story, it involves descent before ascent. You have to face your shadow. The shadow is everything about yourself you've denied, your anger, jealousy, fear, shame, desires. It's the part of you you were taught to hide. But Jung realized something revolutionary, that the shadow isn't evil. It's simply unlived life. Every time you suppress your truth to appear good or acceptable, you feed the shadow. And over time, it grows restless. It shows up as anxiety, resentment, or that vague feeling that something is missing. So when you feel lost, don't run. Listen. Because that feeling is the map. The way out of the darkness isn't by running towards the light, it's by carrying a light into the darkness. That means confronting your insecurities. It means acknowledging the part of you that's afraid to fail, to be rejected, to be truly seen. It means forgiving the parts of yourself you've abandoned just to belong. Because here's the paradox. You only find yourself when you stop pretending to be who you think you should be. When you begin to integrate your shadow, something miraculous happens. You become more authentic, more grounded, less reactive. You no longer chase people's approval because you've accepted yourself. You no longer fear judgment because you've already seen your own darkness and survived it. That's what real confidence is. Not arrogance, not bravado, but quiet self-acceptance. And that's when your path, the real one, starts to appear. You begin to feel drawn to things that nourish you, not just distract you. You start saying no to what drains you, and yes to what feels alive. People might say you've changed, and they're right, you have. You've stopped performing. You've started becoming. That's individuation, the process of aligning your outer life with your inner truth. It doesn't mean you have all the answers. It means you've stopped running from the questions. But let's be honest, the path isn't easy. There are days when you'll want to turn back, to go back to the comfort of old habits and familiar identities. But you can't unknow your truth. Once you've glimpsed who you really are, returning to illusion becomes impossible. You might lose people along the way. You might outgrow certain circles, jobs, even relationships. But you'll gain something far greater, yourself. And that self, the fully integrated, balanced, conscious you, is the source of all genuine power and peace. Because when you live from that place, you stop needing the world to validate you. You no longer fear being alone, because you're finally at home in yourself. So if you feel lost right now, if you're questioning everything, feeling stuck or adrift, know this: you're not broken, you're not behind, you're in the middle of becoming. This confusion is sacred. This uncertainty is your initiation. Don't rush it, don't resist it. Let it teach you. Because on the other side of feeling lost is the truest version of you, the one who no longer wears masks, the one who no longer seeks permission to exist, the one who has stopped chasing meaning and started creating it. The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are. Feeling lost doesn't mean you've gone astray. It means you've been summoned to rediscover yourself. The path isn't easy, but it's worth it, because what you find at the end of that road is you.